You can take the girl out of the trailer park, but you can't take the trailer park out of the girl.
Hey, teacher friend. Welcome to Online Business for Teachers, the podcast for educators who are tired of being tired and wondering if there's more out there. Are you up late Googling online jobs for teachers or how to make extra money from home? Do you dream about starting a business, working from home, or finally getting paid for the resources you've already created without adding more stress to your plate? I'm Monica Lopez, a former teacher who was burnt out, overwhelmed, and secretly searching for a way out. I wanted more time with my kids, the freedom to work from home, and a way to make money doing something I actually enjoyed. That's when I discovered the simplest path, creating and selling my own teacher resources, using the skills I already had. Now, I help teachers like you turn your ideas into income with step-by-step guidance, real talk about finding time to grow your business, and the mindset shifts that help you believe it's actually possible. So close those lesson plans and grab your favorite drink. It is your turn now.
Today, I am on fire because I'm taking a different approach to this podcast episode because I want to talk about a topic that came up this weekend for me, and it really hit home for several reasons. As you know, I love talking about mindset and what thoughts it takes to become the person that you want to be, especially in the money and the business area. So last weekend I went to a Christmas party and we sat with a couple who were totally new to me. I had no idea who these people were, but we sat there and we started having a conversation. And over this conversation, there was a saying thrown out there that triggered me. And honestly, it left me in shock because I'd heard it a million times, but somehow it hit in a way that I wasn't expecting. Like, wait, people still believe this? Because these people were really believing this thought. And I thought, okay, wait, I must still be believing it to some degree because it triggered me. Now, I can't remember the exact phrase that was used, but it was very similar to the Spanish phrase, la mona, aunque se vista de seda, mona se queda. Now, I researched a ton. I went down that rabbit hole for real. And I came up with two ways that it can be translated into English and it still makes sense. So the first one is you can put lipstick on a pig, but it's still a pig. And the other one is you can take the girl out of the trailer park, but you can't take the trailer park out of the girl. Now, it triggered me because, like I said, I guess to some degree, I might still believe it, and maybe in a negative way. And it might still be holding me back just a little bit because depending on where you're coming from culturally or socially, or economically, this can be very prevalent in every conversation during the holidays or family reunions. And the holidays are coming up and a lot of your beliefs and your new thoughts that you have created throughout the entire year are gonna pop up because you're going to be around the people that essentially gave you the identity that you might be trying to shed. All right, so today I want to unpack this and what it means for us as women, as teachers, as the wealthy business women that we want to become. First of all, let's make it clear that it doesn't matter where you come from, who your parents are, how rich or poor you were growing up, you can always achieve your goals. If nobody has told you that, hear me loud and clear. I am packing so much emotion into this episode that I feel like I can explode, like for real. It was so triggering to me and I've thought about it for a few days already and I'm thinking, okay, this has got to be unpacked and other people have got to hear this. So first of all, again, let's make it clear. You and I, we are not pigs and we are not monkeys in any way, shape, or fashion. We are women with dreams and goals that can and will be accomplished with the right focus and intention. All right, So hopefully we are making that one clear. Some of us were taught that we were to be small and to look pretty. We were taught that we were to be seen and not heard. Those thoughts are deep inside of us, and we don't even know that we still carry them. How do I know? Because I had to get rid of them myself. I had to reframe them and do a lot of forgiveness work around these thoughts. Now, we are taught that we are small, not because mom and dad or caregivers wanted us to be less than we were meant to. It's just that they didn't know any better. That's what they were taught too. It comes from way before us and way before them. It's called progress, right? We are breaking cycles here. Right now, it's normal-ish for people to think this way because it's the way that it has always been in most cultures and families. Now, you and I are trying to unbelieve this or disprove these beliefs. Okay? And that's what makes it so hard because it has been expected to be this way for centuries, for lifetimes. And here we are trying to disprove this. And it's hard because everybody around us wants to believe this, but doesn't. Okay? Because it's so heavy on us, all right? Especially as women. It's so much is expected from us and so little is believed that we can accomplish other than our normal duties. But today, I want to offer a thought reframe. I want to offer another thought to counteract this one about the pig with the lipstick or the girl in the trailer park, or in the Spanish one, the monkey, okay? The thought that I have looked up and I chose was, no importa de donde vengas, sino a donde vas. It doesn't matter where I come from, but where I am going. And I'm not saying forget about where you come from, forget your roots. I know there's some people that are like really, really deep into this. You should always honor your traditions, and that's not what I'm talking about, okay? I truly believe that where we come from shapes who we are, and that if we use all the experiences, all the learning experience from our past, they actually help us to get farther. Without these experiences, we would not be where we are, but we get to choose which experiences we want to use. Not all of the experiences that have happened in our lives we want to continue believing in, okay? Like, we can't pretend that they didn't happen, but we can definitely choose what to think about them going forward. So if you grew up in a trailer park, you don't have to believe that you always have to live in that trailer park, okay? You can choose to believe that your life can change. You can choose to believe that you can live in a different house. You can choose to believe that you can make money, all right? Many times when I'm having a hard time in my business, I have to go back to years ago when I had zero products to sell, zero audience, zero idea of what I wanted to do, and I feel hopeful again. I remember that where I came from is not where I am now, but if I hadn't gone through all of those difficulties, I wouldn't know what I know now, and I wouldn't know how to do any of the things that I do now. I've invested so much money in so many courses, learning so many things, and some of them I can say, well, I never made that money back, but actually I did, right? Even if I did not become successful in what that one specific person taught me how to do, well, I used that experience in the business that is successful now, that I am using right now, like growing an email list. I was learning how to grow a different type of business when I learned how to grow my email list. And it was super easy to me when I started my TPT business to just grow my email list. I'm like, oh, I already know what a lead magnet is. I already know where to put it. I already know all these things. So I just implemented what I learned in this other course that wasn't even meant for TPT. And I implemented it here, and it was smooth. It was awesome. So you have to remember that you use those quote unquote failures in order to elevate you to where you want to be, instead of considering them failures and setting you back. Because I truly believe that they're not setbacks, they're just learning experiences. All right. So going back to the saying that I heard, I want to give you permission to do the same. If you feel stuck because you think that you don't have what it takes, this here is your permission to change. Sometimes you just need permission to change your identity. And you're going to laugh, but I'm going to make a reference to a family favorite movie in my house. I hope that you've watched it. It's really good. It's called Rango. It's about the chameleon who goes from living in a terrarium as someone's pet to living in a small town in a desert. And when he arrives in this town, he decides to change his identity. When he's asked, who he was, he decided that he wasn't going to be that lifeless nobody who had zero friends and zero stories to tell. He decided that he was going to be a hero who had a bunch of stories about how he had killed a villain with just one bullet, and the whole story. You can watch it. It's really good. It's got a really good storyline to it and a great outcome. So learn something from the chameleon. But anyway, so he decided that he was going to take the identity of a hero, and the whole town here needed help, and he was expected to be that hero, and he had never done this before. He was super scared. He had no idea how to be this character that he had invented in his mind and decided that he was going to be. But he did it scared, and he did it anyway. Of course, throughout the story, his facade was taken down, and, everybody found out that he wasn't truly this big hero, but he learned what the feeling of being a hero was, and he liked it, and he wanted to prove to himself and to the people that he was a hero, that he could be that hero that he had decided to be. He wanted to be somebody that he was proud of, not just for himself, but also for the entire town. And so, the story ends with him actually becoming a hero, and you can watch it. Like I said, it's got a really good ending, and, let's all be like Rango. So yes, today I want to invite you to be like Rango. I want you to choose the identity that you want, and I want you to start acting as if. You see, years ago, I couldn't believe that I could sell anything. I thought of myself as someone small who had no value to give to the world. And y'all, I had a bachelor's degree and I still thought that I had no value to give to the world. Okay. I remember selling like small things like smoothies and planners and just MLM type of products to practice earning money. Now, back then, it was the scariest thing that I had ever done in my whole entire life, because I had to ask for money, and that was super scary. But I did it anyway. I actually remember going to deliver a product that I had sold for the very first time, and how I kept repeating to myself. I mean, the person lived 5 minutes away from my house. And so I had those 5 minutes in my car to talk myself into being a good seller. Now, granted, this person had already bought my product, but in my head, I thought, oh my gosh, I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to deliver this product and take this person's money. I had no idea how to do that. It was my very first time. And I had to repeat to myself during those 5 minutes, I am a businesswoman. I know how to sell. I am a great seller, and all of those kinds of things. Like I had to record them on my phone and then play them back to make myself believe that I could be this person. Now, that was the very first money that I had ever made selling anything that I had promoted, because this is a product that I actually had to go out there and tell people about. People didn't just come to me and say, hey, I want this, because they didn't know that I was selling it, right? So I had to actually post on Facebook, and people listened and they liked it and they wanted it. And it felt really good. If I took that money and it felt good. And I would love to tell you that from that moment on, I was amazing at selling and that it was easy, but it wasn't. It was still hard. I hadn't strengthened that muscle enough to believe those thoughts. I had more work to do, and every time and still up to this day, every time I am ready to level up, I feel the same feelings, right? Like, who am I? Why would people pay me for this? And all of those feelings that are super ingrained into my brain, I have to, I guess, fight them, right? I have to counteract those thoughts so that I can create better feelings. So I have to go back every once in a while and to the very, very beginning to see how far I have come. And I have to strengthen those thought muscles. Okay? So I would love to tell you that it gets easier. It does if you want to stay in that level. But if you want to go to the next level, yeah, it comes back again. And if you want to go to the next level, it comes back again, and so on and so forth. It doesn't just go away forever. It's not easy. And if it was easy, everybody would do it for sure, right? I know that's kind of cliche, but it's true. If it were easy, everybody would do it. So you might be asking, what in the world does all of this have to do with selling my resources on TPT or on Etsy or whatever type of teacher business it is that you have? I know many of you are still wanting to start a business. I know a lot of people listening to this podcast are thinking, but I don't have what it takes, but I don't know how to make money, but I don't have anything to offer. I'm not techie. I'm too old. I'm too young. I'm just a teacher. I'm not a businesswoman. I'm not this. I'm not that, right? And you may not say those things out loud, but those might be beliefs that you are carrying with you that are weighing you down. And you know, they are not true. It's just thoughts that you keep believing, right? So if you change those thoughts, then you change your reality. You have to let go of the thoughts that you don't want anymore. And then you have to adopt new thoughts, okay? And that's what I'm here to help you do. You believe of yourself as a pet Rango, the one who knew he was meant for more, but didn't know that there was anything else for him but what was inside that terrarium. You have to purposely take yourself out of the comfortable place that you are in and try on a new identity. The one of a successful TPT seller, the one of a woman who makes money, not just the teacher who teaches and gets a paycheck. You can be that too if you want to, but imagine if you could do both. Or imagine if you could do so well on your business that you don't have to teach anymore. What would that feel like? Identify what it is that you want, and then identify with who you need to be to get there. It only takes one small step, one small decision. What step are you taking to get closer to your goals? What are you going to decide today? Sometimes that first step into a new identity is letting someone see you there. So if you are ready to start thinking and acting like the woman who builds something of her own, I invite you to book a call with me. We can talk about what you want, what's been holding you back, and what it looks like to move forward, even if it feels scary. The link is in the show notes. Thank you so much for being here today and for listening to me rant about my trigger thoughts about believing that you are less, or that because you came from some place, it means that you cannot get to where you want to be. All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you next week.
Hey, teacher friend, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If this show is helping you dream a little bigger, would you take 30 seconds to leave a quick review? It means the world to me, and it helps more teachers find their way to this podcast. I'll meet you back here next week. Take care and keep dreaming bigger.